What's up, everybody? Part 2 of the Friday double dip for UFC Vegas 75. This is the betting show. I am Spencer Kyte, friendly neighborhood Spencer man. Threw on the glasses for those of you watching on YouTube. Eyes have been bugging me the last couple of weeks. Went and actually had an eye exam yesterday. Everything is fine. Everything is good. They're just tired. I'm getting old. I'm on screens way too much. In addition to doing these shows, all of my work for OSDB Sports and UFC.com. I'm on my phone too much, like so many of us. And so a little more often going to be trying to throw on the glasses. Excuse me. I wear sunglasses every time that I'm outside, even on overcast days like today here in Abbotsford. But I digress. Dropped part 1 of the Friday double dip, the Punch Drunk predictions. It is up now on YouTube, on Substack, wherever you get your podcasts. Please go like and subscribe, rate and review. Greatly appreciate all of those things. Check out the QR code above me here. That will take you right to the Substack where you can subscribe for $0, $5 per month, or $50 for the year. I'm going to reverse that. $50 for the year. Either way, anyway, I appreciate you dropping by. I appreciate you coming and checking out the content. That's what it is there for. Subscribe here on YouTube. Like it here on YouTube. Follow me strictly on IG. Whatever. Come and get the content. That's all it is. Come and get the content. Check out my guys at One Bone rocking the Henley. It is clean. It is comfortable. It is fresh. It is a different look than just having a little bit of the t-shirt. You got the 3 buttons. It's nice. The yacht shirts dropped this week. There's another drop coming next week. As I told my guy, Sam, going to make me broke with all of these drops. If you want to join the community, if you are checking them out at One Bone Brand, onebonebrand.com, use ESK20 at checkout for 20% off your offers. That will let you know you heard about them from me, and we appreciate that. We want them to know that we're spreading the word and that you're hearing about the fantastic community, the fantastic gear from the boys of Montreal through Keyboard Kimura. That's the point of this. As always, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Spencer Kyte. And before we get into the bets or even the previous recaps, we start as always with a little bit of a note on responsible gambling. This is meant to be fun. I am not making all of these wagers. This is numbers on a spreadsheet. This is monopoly money for me. I'm keeping track of it all because I want to know how I'm doing, but I'm not out here in these streets using this kind of money to make these kind of wagers on UFC fights. If I were, I would be broke, divorced, and changing my ways. It's why I just do it for fun now. Not that I was broke or divorced before, but problem gambling runs in the Kyte family. Let's just put it that way. If you or someone you love is struggling with those issues, check the show notes, check the notes here on YouTube. There will be links to problem gambling help centers in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Ireland included in those notes. This is just meant to be fun. This is meant to be additive. This is meant to be a way to supplement your enjoyment or further your enjoyment of these events. Please always gamble responsibly. Never put in more than you can afford to lose. I take this stuff seriously from a wanting to keep track of it standpoint, but I don't want anybody getting in any kind of bad shape about this stuff. So please, if you are struggling, reach out. DMs are always open. I am here to listen. I am here to talk. I am here to help however I can. As with the predictions last week, the intent was to be here and do the betting show, but that just didn't happen. My actual plan was to get in for weigh-ins on Friday, find a nice quiet spot after weigh-ins, bang out 2 shows, and away we go. Weigh-ins, we had to sit. We got through everybody in 28 minutes and then sat for an hour waiting for Adam Fugit. He was in very late. Should have ran out and taped the shows then. Didn't, because I was having fun hanging out, talking to some people, enjoying some little samples and some coffee. So we didn't get around to them. I can tell you they are here on a sheet of paper. If anybody wants to freeze frame that and pull them up, you could see. I will send you the sheet that is inked properly so that you understand it was written last week. Would have been a good week. We would have made a profit. But this is what happens. As it stands, our recap week or our recap event, similar to the Punch Drunk predictions, is UFC Vegas 74. So that week, Kai Kara France and Miro Bazzi, we had $965 go out. We had $1,131.14 come in for a $166.14 profit, 17.22% ROI. That's consecutive profitable weeks. It would have been 3 straight profitable weeks if I had figured out a way to make some time to get the betting show put together last week, but I digress. Either way, that's what I like. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make some smarter wagers, trying to make some better wagers that return some money, make us some profits, get us in the positive, and we all have fun. We shift our focus to UFC Vegas 75, headlined by Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier, and we start in that main event. We have a couple little wagers. $100 on Marvin Vettori on the money line, which is minus 125 at this point. Returns $180. And $50 on Marvin Vettori to win by decision, which is plus 140, which returns $120. So 150 out of potential, 300 back in. I like that double up. I think if Vettori gets this done, it is on the scorecards. He's not a guy that has been finishing a lot of people. And additionally, Jared Cannonier isn't somebody, at middleweight at least, that has been getting finished. I don't think Vettori has the power or necessarily the submission skills on the ground to go out and find a finish. What I do think will happen, and I said this on the Punch Drunk predictions, is that the pace and the pressure and the output of Marvin Vettori will rule the day. I think he wins at least 3 rounds on the scorecard, if not more, gets his hand raised. We turn 150 into 300 to close out the day. Hopefully that is just adding on to profits, but that's what I like in the main event. Next fight that we've got a wager on is the co-main event, Arman Tsarukyan and Joaquim Silva. It's $50 on Tsarukyan by decision at plus 375. So that 50 returns 237.50. The reason I went with this prop is because Tsarukyan is minus 1,200 on the money line. Staying the hell away from that. There's no value in that whatsoever for a guy like me that's, started with a $10,000 bankroll. I don't have the resources to create profit there. And it's not worth the juice to me. I do think there is the possibility that he finishes this fight. Joaquim Silva lost his previous 2 fights prior to his victory last time out, lost his previous 2 fights there by knockout to Ricky Glenn and Nasrat Haqparast. Tsarukyan has gotten some finishes in the past, dominated Yoel Alvarez most recently in terms of finishes. But I think more often than not, this ends up being a 3-round fight where Tsarukyan just uses his wrestling and his grappling to neutralize the power of Silva, to put him on his back, to sap some of the energy out of him, drain some of the explosiveness from him. I think it is a fight where he just wins on the scorecards. I think it can be a lopsided win on the scorecards. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a 30-25, 30-26 kind of situation where he gets a 10-8 or 2. But at plus 375 for a guy that is minus 1,200, I like that as a little sprinkle prop here. Not even a little sprinkle prop because $50 isn't little, but as a prop play here to get some potential value out of a guy where it's hard to mine some value this weekend. Keep moving along, and we land on the next fight, the middleweight fight between Armen Petrosyan and Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm a big CLD guy, and I'm going big again. I went big on him in his debut in London. We cashed. It was one of my stack sort of bets of money line, finish first round. All of them came through. We put a lot out then. We brought a lot in then. We're putting a lot out now. We're hoping to bring a lot in now. $500 on the money line at minus 150 returns $833.33. I think Christian Leroy Duncan is significantly better than Armen Petrosyan. I think fight fans don't know it yet. UFC fans don't know it yet. More importantly, odds makers don't know it yet. I will take this minus 150, and run with it all day. I will also drop $250 on Duncan to finish at plus 175, which returns $687.50. He has finished all but one of his fights. That was his second fight with Will Curry in Cage Warriors. Yes, the last fight ended by stoppage due to an injury, but I think he is capable. I think he is more than capable of going out and getting a stoppage on Saturday. So all told, on CLD, it is 750 out. If he wins, it's 833.33 back, so an $83.33 profit. Still not bad. It's a long way to make 83, like 750 is a long way to make 83 bucks. However, if he does get the finish, we get our victory, we get our hand raised by finish, it's $1,520.83 back. So a $770.83 profit, which means we're pretty close to good for the night, I would say. If we get that one, we're pretty close. We only need one or two more to come through, and I would like to think that we're going to get one or two more cashes. So that's the big outlay. I think CLD is the real deal. I think these are good spots to get money in and get money out on a guy that UFC fans and UFC odds makers thus far don't know the skill level and ability of Christian Leroy Duncan. Next fight that I've got a wager on, we have to go down to the prelims, the Carlos Hernandez, Dennis Bondar fight. As I said on the Punch Drunk predictions, I like Hernandez here. Part of it is that I've seen him in the UFC. I've seen him get a victory in the UFC over a good fighter in Victor Altamirano. The other part is that Dennis Bondar has fought once in 3 years, lasted 82 seconds. He blew out his elbow. I just can't play a guy like that. I just can't back a guy like that. And so if you want to give me plus money on Hernandez on the money line, I'm going to take it. So it's $120 on Hernandez on the money line at plus 110, returns $252.20. Sorry, $252. Having a day. The reason the number is 120 is because I have OCD, and making it 120 makes it a full $1,000 or $1,250 that I've wagered. I like round numbers. My brain works that way. Normally I wouldn't necessarily go that big, but the OCD kicked in a little bit and was like, hey, get those numbers even. So we got those numbers even. I think he is one of the few dogs on this fight card that I can see winning. He's the only one that I've picked. He's the only one that I'm playing. I think there's a bunch of close competitive fights, but I'm just not sold on Bondar. First fight back in well over a year, only his second fight in 3 years. I need to see something from him first. And if I can more than double up, I'm going to try to do so. Next wager, $100 on Teresa Bleda by decision. Touched on this as well. A little bit on the Punch Drunk predictions. You should go and watch that. It is a companion piece to this. They work so well together. Peanut butter and jelly. I think she just out wrestles Gabriela Fernandez for 3 rounds. I think she takes her down and keeps her on the ground once for each round. Just puts her on her back, doesn't let her up. Round finishes. We do it again to start the next round until we're done and she stands in the center and gets her hand raised. I honestly think it is going to be as simple as that. She will need to make sure she doesn't get hit by Gabriela Fernandez, who is a big, strong woman with a bunch of power. But I think in seeing that fight with Jasmine Jasdavicius and Fernandez's debut, the road to victory is there for Bleda. All you've got to do is stick to it and not burn yourself out, not overextend yourself and work yourself out as she did in the fight against Natalia Silva, where she looked good early, but the conditioning and the stamina just went and she was beat. So that $100 at plus 130 on the decision returns $230. And then the other straight wager of the night is $50 on Modestas Bukauskas in the opener to finish at plus 240, returns 170. I think this is a fight where he will get an opportunity to land some good shots and some big shots on Zach Pauga, who is more of a grinder, who is somebody that's going to look to close the distance, but Bukauskas does well to maintain range, does well to keep people at the end of his weapons, especially in this type of fight, this tier of fight. He looked very good against Tyson Pedro, in my opinion, last time out. Pauga didn't look great. And so you want to give me plus 240 on a potential finish, I'm going to take it, and the potential $120 profit every day of the week. As always, before we get out of here, we have the Punch Drunk parlays. So for those of you that are just tuning in, every week on the betting show, I will give you a $10 main card parlay, $10 prelim parlay, and a $10 full card parlay. They are just built off of my picks, off the athletes that I think are going to be victorious, because if I happen to go perfect on the main card, on the prelims, or the whole card, I want to have had a little wager on it so that we do okay. One of the wagers last week that you knew I was going to make, and I really do wish that I had jumped on here and had video recorded proof, or even audio recorded proof, that it was one of my wagers. It is on the paper here. Just the all Canada parlay. 5 for 5. I didn't include Diana Belbitsa. She was not born here in my home and native land. I just went with born and raised Canadians. So we would have went 5 for 5. $10 would have turned into $534. That would have been the base for our profit overall. But we didn't jump on the screen. We didn't jump on the airwaves. We didn't put it out there. It is what it is. So this week, the main card parlay: Marvin Vettori, Armin Saryukin, Christian Leroy Duncan, Pat Sabatini, Manuel Torres, Muslim Salikov. $10, combined odds of plus 1,099, returns $119.86. On the prelims, Alessandro Costa, Christian Quinones, Carlos Hernandez, Teresa Bleda, Ronnie Lawrence, Madi B. $10, plus 1527, returns $162.69. And the full card parlay: Vettori, Saryukin, CLD, Sabatini, Torres, Salikov, Costa, Quinones, Hernandez, Bleda, Lawrence, Bukauskas. $10, plus 19,396, for a return of $1,949.67. As I say every week that I am on here, if I run the table, if we go 12 for 12 on Saturday, your boy's going to be screaming on Sunday when we drop back in for the next day takeaways. I hope you enjoy the fights. I hope you cash some tickets if you are making wagers. I hope your selections go well. I hope you enjoy yourself. Know that you're loved. Know that you're appreciated. If you're not watching the fights, have a blessed weekend. We'll talk to you Sunday.